Arsenal finally got their centre forward, but it is not the one many expected they will go for. Towards the end of the 2024-2025 season, fans, pundits and the media were all saying that Arsenal would sign either Alexander Isak or Benjamin Šeško, but they ended up agreeing to a €73.5 million total package for Viktor Gyökeres. Gyökeres is older, shorter and less acrobatic than the other two guys. So why did Arsenal go for him instead of them? That's what we're here to find out today. This is why Arsenal chose Viktor Gyökeres over Alexander Isak and Benjamin Šeško. First of all, Gyökeres wanted the move more than any other striker in the market. He almost literally fought for this. He got into a pretty heated public exchange with the Sporting president over this, refused to show up at training and closed the doors to ever returning to the club despite threats of suspension and fines, and the president seemingly trying to block the move. Manchester United approached him. Saudi clubs offered him a much higher salary, but he only wanted Arsenal. He even reportedly offered to give up €2 million of his salary and got his agents to reduce his commission just to facilitate the move. He wanted Arsenal and Arsenal alone, and he made sure to show it. And what do we always say? Big clubs love it when you show them you want them and them alone. So that definitely affected the way Arsenal saw him. Arsenal went for Šeško first, but the Slovenian didn't show half as much desire to join the club as Gyökeres did. And even with the club seemingly prioritizing Šeško over him, Gyökeres' determination to join Arsenal didn't waver. With how much he fought to join the club, Arsenal are pretty much assured that Gyökeres will play for the badge. And if his attitude at this point is anything to go by, Gyökeres will be giving more to the club than the options would have. But determination and dedication aren't enough, of course. What about skill, talent, style of play, and all of that? Well, even when you consider all that, you can still see why Arsenal chose Gyökeres. The reason many people feel some type of way about the signing is because big clubs paying big money on players who are in their mid-20s. It seems to be getting outdated in football, which is why a lot of fans were leaning towards the 22-year-old Šeško. The truth is that Gyökeres is the exact type of guy who can absolutely hit the ground running and start yielding results right now. And that's what Arsenal needs at this point in their project, with the likes of Šeško and maybe even Ekitike, who might have to give them a season to learn a few things and adjust to the system. A player like Gyökeres doesn't need that. He is a certified goal machine who is seasoned, experienced, and at the prime of his career. This dude really came so close to winning the European Golden Shoe in the 2024-2025 season, despite playing for Sporting. In fact, if not for the very last day of the season, it would have been Gyökeres' award. The Swede finished ahead of the likes of Mo Salah, Robert Lewandowski, Harry Kane, and Alexander Isak in the European Golden Shoe race. Think about that for a second. And you might say that he was competing in a less competitive league, but that's the beauty of the European Golden Shoe. Goals scored in less competitive leagues like Liga Portugal have a 1.5 coefficient, while top leagues have a coefficient of 2. So Gyökeres had to outscore everyone to finish second. He was the only one in the entire top 10 who played the entire season in a league outside the top 5. That tells you a lot. And here's the thing. He not only did it in Portugal, he also did it in the Champions League, scoring 6 goals in 6 starts on the biggest stage, including a hat-trick against Manchester City. Sporting suffered a lot after the loss Ruben Amorim mid-season, but you just could not stop Gyökeres from scoring. And he scores all types of goals too: powerful shots, solo runs, counter-attacks, call-outs, tap-ins, set pieces, you name it. Speaking of set pieces, he's actually something of a specialist. He scores penalties and free kicks fairly regularly, and that will always be good news for Arsenal. They no longer have to rely on Saka in that regard, and if they ever get into penalty shootouts, they will go in with a little more confidence now. But there's one consistent problem that has been talked about. He does not score headers. Compared to the likes of Šeško, Isak and Osimhen, Gyökeres lags far behind when it comes to aerial prowess. Why that is true, we don't think it will be an issue for Arsenal at all. First of all, Gyökeres is 6 feet 2 inches, so that is definitely something that can be learned. Also, Havertz is still in the team, remember. So if the tactics require some area domination in the box, Arteta could easily use the German instead. They also have Gabriel for set pieces, so there won't be so much pressure on Gyökeres to score headed goals, provided he's scoring one way or another. But we'll still maintain that is something that can be learned. Arsenal is a team known to train set pieces. With enough training, Gyökeres will begin to score headers, so that nothing to be worried about. Honestly, he's just so good at everything else for this to have been a deal breaker for Arsenal. This dude ranks in the 86th percentile for non-penalty goals per 90 when compared to forwards in Europe's top 5 leagues. But that's not even the best part of his game. Apart from scoring, Gyökeres adds so much more. Some fans seem bothered about how a big striker like this will fare against low or mid blocks. But what they don't know is that Gyökeres is actually a perfect tool against such teams. He creates so much for himself and his teammates. He ranks in the 97th percentile for both shot creating actions and expected assisted goals when compared to forwards in Europe's top 5 leagues. For context, Isak ranks in the 84th and 71st percentile, while Šeško ranks in the 30th and 18th percentile in those respective categories. Gyökeres boasts an 80% pass completion rate, which ranks in the 94th percentile, and he averages 1.18 successful take-ons per game, which ranks in the 87th percentile when compared to forwards in Europe. Not bad for a big striker, is it? Just don't judge a book by its cover. Gyökeres is actually a very technical player. You just need to watch him to see that. He's a very good ball carrier as well, ranking in the 97th percentile for progressive carries. So when Arsenal need to play in transition, he will be just perfect. What's more, he knows how to make brilliant center forward runs, and is evidenced in the 9.47 progressive passes he receives per 90, which ranks in the 97th percentile. So he'll be an absolute delight for the likes of Odegaard and Saka, who love to create chances for their teammates. For context, once again, Isak receives an average of 7.09 progressive passes per 90, which ranks in the 88th percentile, while Šeško receives an average of 5 progressive passes per 90, which ranks in the 49th percentile when compared to forwards in Europe's top 5 leagues. Mind the gap, right? Now, we'll admit that Šeško is much better when it comes to tracking back and helping the defense. He's obviously also much better in air, and he's younger, which is always great news, but he's not at the level of Gyökeres yet. Arsenal need to start winning now, and they've got just the right person to help them do that. Isak would have been great, for sure. He was the dream. He's a more rounded player than Gyökeres, is younger, and has already proven himself in the Premier League. But he would have cost Arsenal nearly double the price of Gyökeres, so would it have really been worth it at that price? Getting Gyökeres, Madueke and Norgard for the price of one Isak feels like it might have been the smarter way to go about business this summer for Arsenal. And hey, who has a colder celebration than him, right? That alone is enough to get fans super excited. The Emirates will absolutely be rocking the first time he pulls out that celebration, for sure. But what are your thoughts on this one? Do you believe this is a signing Arsenal fans should be excited about? Do you think Viktor Gyökeres will flop in England? How many goals do you think he will score in his first season for Arsenal? Can he fight for the Premier League Golden Boot? Tell us what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content.